The thing is it's a broad spectrum of conversational thought there.
Baby-sized brass knuckles?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You're going to have to order that online on the dark web. So it's a fast baby.
Yeah.
I would have entered it in the Olympics. So did they try that?
I mean,
could you just not corral it?
It was Satan.
Oh, it was Satan.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
I feel like if it was Satan baby, it'd be like, yeah, I'll run the race for you.
Yeah, sure.
And then not. Okay, hey, welcome back
to Brass Knuckles,
Baby Carriages,
and the space between.
Betwixt, perhaps.
Betwixt.
The space betwixt my loins.
No. That is not what we're going to be talking about today.
No, it's...
or ever, I might add.
There's a lot of space.
There's a lot of space.
There's a lot of room down there. Just
off to a bad start and break, and starting again, 3, 2, 1.
No, it's we're already started. It's too late.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Because we like to do things in one cut. Let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, and how often do you get to toss the word betwixt into a sentence?
I used it yesterday.
While ordering coffee.
I said, what's betwixt the croissant and the bagel?
Yeah. I see something betwixt the croissant.
Croissant. And here in Portland,
the
very kind coffee shop worker said,
oh, yeah.
Dude, tell me what you want, man. Come on. Jeez.
I don't even understand it. It's like
customer service?
Coffee's supposed to be... Why did I just spit on myself?
It's part of what you do, buddy.
Right. Coffee is supposed to be like this enjoyable experience. But in Portland, like you go to order coffee and it's like they're mad at you. It's
a nightmare. It's like you're trying to get into the cool kid club at a high school party. And you walk over, you're like, they're circled around, having beers, and you just want to try to get to maybe the keg is in there, and they're holding the cups. Excuse me, can I get a cup? But they're like, man.
Can I just get a white mocha? And then they look at you with disdain. They're like, oh, do you want a cold brew? And you're like, no, I just want a regular. Oh, you don't want a cold brew.
Right.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't want to spend $8 for half a sip of coffee because you spent 3 days having it sit in a special pot that you didn't want the acid level to get too high.
And newsflash, it did it itself. You didn't do it.
Guess what?
You just mixed it up.
Yep. All you did was sit there and stare at it.
It's like kombucha. And I make a great kombucha. Don't get me wrong. I make a great kombucha.
But I mean, you don't really make it. Like the little,
I don't. I just mix it up and it does its thing.
Yeah, the small creatures in there.
Yeah, little lions. I think I picture them like little lions.
You're sucking down their defecation.
That's a rough way to think about it. Let's not.
I mean, but that's true, right?
Not eating poop, dude.
I mean, it's the same thing with beer, right? You're like just, oh man, I love yeast poop.
Oh. I used to make kombucha. Did I tell you that? I used to. Not anymore.
Not anymore. I mean, really.
But wait. I wanted to know. Hold on. I want to talk about why I have to prove myself to a coffee shop worker that I deserve to be in there.
I know, because you don't.
He should or she should be thankful that I'm like patronizing the place, not patronizing, because that's what they do.
You're a patron.
I'm a patron. Right. I'm patronizing the place.
Right, and they should be doing more than patronizing you. Like with like a false sense of like pleasure of that you showed up to spend your money, right? When it's just obvious disdain.
Right. I try to dodge their judgmental gazes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want a fucking cup, huh?
I get my head on a swivel. It doesn't help. Right. They get me every time.
Oh, sorry, we canceled white mochas.
You should, when you go in there next time and order them, Dan, you should ask, hey, do you do this as well as Starbucks?
Right.
And then just see what they say.
Oh, yeah.
That will spin them up.
Whew. And at Starbucks, you order a large, and at those places, you order a venti, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think, doesn't venti just mean like 20 in Italian?
I believe that could be right. I don't know.
I mean,
I can't say
pretty sure. I mean, I don't speak whatever that language is.
Buongiorno.
Mm-hmm. Italiano.
Yeah. I'm pretty close to Italian. I look Italian.
Yeah, spaghetti.
Right. Yeah. Not Italian.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Meet the ball.
No. Nope. No one ever said that.
The pizza.
Chinese pizza.
The French fry.
I think we're being now offensive. Coffee shop people hate us. Anyone with Italian lineage despises us.
Right, yeah. So,
unless they've gone there and then they know, why we're talking this away.
Yeah.
Trying to meet the ball.
Yeah. It's funny. Have you ever been to France?
No.
Oh, my gosh. I've been to France. And I got to tell you, like, first of all, I don't speak French. Like, I wasn't there, like, because
I heard you shouldn't even try.
Like, vacation in France. I was there because it's work related. And I found that as an American man in France that does not speak French, I am the lowest of the low. Like, right. I am hated. Like, oh my God. Like,
where were you?
France, Paris. Yeah.
Paris. Okay.
I mean, it's all
France.
It's all France, right? It doesn't really matter where in France. I was in the French place, where they speak Francian. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they are very angry people.
They didn't like you.
No, they did not like me. And I was trying to be nice. Like I was like, oh, but I'm really sorry. I don't speak any French. I'm here for work. And it was like, they sped off in French. I don't know what they were saying. And
probably.
It sounds so silly. I mean, because it sounds made up, but it's true. I watched a French lady spit in my coffee before she gave it to me, and I was like, wow. It's like that's
deep sustain for someone.
Disdain.
Sustain is holding it for a long time.
Right.
But she's also sustaining the disdain.
Right, yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's some hatred. Like, that's...
Yeah.
I just ordered coffee. So you think Portland coffee...
it could be worse? That's what you're saying?
The Portland people are bad. I mean, they're like... I mean, although I imagine if someone came in speaking only French and not any English...
Sure.
They would be falling all over themselves helping them.
Right.
Right, yeah.
But if you try in France, so I've heard, I have not been there, but I've heard that most people there don't enjoy you trying to dabble in French either because you destroy the language.
I wouldn't know. I can't say for sure.
I can
tell you that
none.
Don't as a white American male who doesn't speak a word of French, don't flip and go to France.
Okay, there you go.
If you're in my demographic,
I went to. I sat in a bar in the Czech Republic, and the bartender and I had a good rapport, and we're talking. There, I heard that's when I found out that the Czechs don't always love the attitude of the Austrians. I didn't know that. And so we were talking about that.
Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Nope, not Australian. Oh. Austrian. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, kangaroo attacks, eh?
No. Nope, that is Australian.
The Dodgers.
You just went to like the 40s.
I don't even know.
Good God.
It's my go-to.
There's this girl sitting next to me. And
French girl?
No, she was Czech.
Czech.
I was checking her out. I knew I had to head that one out. Yeah, I wasn't checking her out. And when I tried to have a conversation with her that I thought was very short and fine. And then I'm talking to the bartender, and
Austria.
She stands up and walks out. And the bartender says, "You married?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, too bad, because she really liked you."
Oh.
And I said, "What?"
What?
I could not tell. I thought she hated me. Yeah. And he goes, Czech girls, It's like, no, I don't. Yeah. So evidently she liked me. I had no idea.
That's what the spit and the slap was for.
Right, which would make one person in the Czech Republic that liked me.
Yeah.
So well, that's good. Pretty good. Starting with one, going for two next time.
Oh, did she smash your finger with a ball peen hammer? Oh yeah, she wants to get married.
She likes you a lot.
Oh my gosh.
She really digs you.
She is into you.
She looks mad at me. Like she would spit in my coffee.
Right.
Interesting.
Maybe she was French. Or from Portland.
Yeah. You don't want someone to move to France from Portland. Sweet Jesus.
Right, yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Today you're going to talk about how to breathe.
How to breathe. No. Well, yeah. So, all right. So let's give a little backstory here. I had a rough point in my life where, due to work and just, all of our lives get busy, right? And how we think about the things and feel about the things that are happening in our lives kind of depends or influences how they affect us, right?
Yeah.
So at that time, I was struggling, and I, had a couple rough calls at work and had a new baby and was on probation as a firefighter.
Wait, stop.
What?
Did your baby have brass knuckles?
No, but I didn't know about that then.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I mean, I feel like...
Guess what stop one on my time machine would be?
Right. Yeah.
Just because I think this could have shook the whole thing up. If I came in and Ray had a little brass knuckles on, I'd go, something happened.
Yeah.
Something cool.
Right.
Really cool.
And then there's a baby carriage. Maybe we're getting baby carriage all wrong. Maybe it's just like a normal carriage, except it's just really small, like a bigger carriage had a baby.
Oh, right. Or a baby sized, but like a baby would push it.
Right. Yeah.
So an awkwardly small, like maybe a kitten could go in there?
Right, yeah.
That size.
So why would they call it a kitten carriage?
Well, because cats don't push it. They won't.
Right.
Have you tried to get a cat to do anything?
Right, yeah. I'm pretty sure my wife is a cat.
If it's pick up your underwear, I'm evidently a cat too.
Right, yeah. If it's put the dishes away, I'm a cat. If it's put your clothes, fold your clothes, I'm a cat.
Right. I don't even see it till she goes, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "Oh, how'd those get there?"
Yeah. If it's closed the fridge after I got something out of it, I'm probably part cat.
I don't think it was me, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
No,
I watched you do it.
And I have one of those fridges that beeps after a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's good. We don't.
Yeah.
So ours once stayed open for 7 days.
Yeah. And she's like, "Why is the fridge beeping?" I'm like, "I have no idea." While I'm sitting there eating yogurt.
You're probably like, "Where's Ronan?
Yeah.
What do you do?"
It's probably one of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost the ability to sleep.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a night of sleep, literally, to save my life. And this went on for years. And there were times where I thought I was getting better and times where I got a lot worse. And during that process, you start finding other ways to help yourself. And I started drinking a little heavier and just trying to survive day by day. And our job demands that we come in even keeled, right?
Right, yeah. Well, first, let's be clear. When he says our job, we don't actually, split a job. Like, he doesn't work half of it, I work half.
He split every shift. Right.
We have the same type of job.
Right. But as a firefighter, you come in and you got to take care of people, and that's your job, and you got to be even keeled, and you got to problem solve, right?
Right, yeah.
And so
that's about 60% of my department.
60. So you look at that and you say, all right, so I'm going to use up any extra energy I have here.
Right.
And then you come home and you don't even know. I didn't even know what I was. I couldn't remember how I used to feel. And so this went on for years.
Right. You became a 4.5 foot tall T-Rex.
Basically, with a lizard brain. Yeah,
right,
I was. Yeah. I would eat when I'm hungry. I'd eat when I wasn't hungry.
And I feel like I'm giving you a few inches in the height there.
Unbelievable. I hope people are offended out there. This hypeist attitude of yours is really poor, and it's been since I've known you.
It's almost like I look down on you.
I'm glad someone's laughing. This is shocking to me.
Right.
Shocking.
Okay, so you're a tiny dinosaur.
Yeah. So anyway, I am. One day I'm at the station and someone's listening to this podcast, and I'm like, "Hey, what the heck is this?" And this guy's on it named Wim Hof, right? And so I listen to him, and Wim's a Dutchman and crazy in all the right ways, and he's like, "Oh man, this is a great way to reset your central nervous system." And I was like, "Hello." So I did this breathing thing. Right. It's super easy breathing technique, and you guys can look into it when you write his name down, Wim Hof, WIMHOF. And first day I did it, I slept for 6 hours.
6 hours.
And that was the first time in years.
So you did so as I've looked in this too, I do it on not daily, I know I should, but I probably do it.
You're cheating yourself.
I know. I do it probably, I'd say every other day.
Okay.
But it's just an 11-minute exercise.
So long. Yeah. Super short.
So that's what you did.
I did that. Yep, I did that, and then it's not like I went to sleep right after. I went about my day.
Right.
And then later that night, laid down and, went through the standard mental parts when you can't sleep. Anyone out there who can't sleep, I get it. You lay there and say, I hope I can sleep right now. I only have 8 hours right now. Now I only have 7 hours. And oh, great, now I'm at 6 hours.
Right.
How am I going to get better? I'm dying. I'm literally dying. And so that's, you chase your tail all night that way. And so slept for 6 hours.
I picture, again, that old radio talk show host, Shadow Stevens.
Which one?
He used to do the top 40.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, welcome to hour 2 of Not Falling Asleep. What do we got for you now in your thoughts? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
You really messed up at work the other day. Maybe you should reevaluate your ability to act appropriately in front of others.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
and then you go forward to you're going to be overly accepting now and just accept life as it is. And that'll last for 13 minutes.
Right.
Then you're going to be outrageously angry. And, so it's such a mental game. So I do this breathing thing. It helps me one night, and I start doing it every day, like taking a vitamin. It's not like a one thing fixes all. And it was helping me so much that I went to Wim's house in Poland.
You just showed up out of the blue.
I just went surprise, and he's like, "Holy moly, stalker!" No, he does these winter expeditions in Poland, in Preška, Poland.
Preška.
Probably not saying that right. I don't speak Polish. That is a difficult language.
It's also an angry language. It's like German.
Yeah, it's like they want to hug you, but it sounds like they want to kill you.
Right.
Yeah. But went there and stayed at his little place with 17 other people from all over the world, and delved in a little bit into this stuff. And I want to talk really quickly about kind of the pillars of this thing, because it's not like someone who's sitting there being like, hey man, do this thing. It's completely unproven in science. Like, he's doing stuff that is literally changing how books are being written and accessing parts. And so I want to talk about a couple of these studies.
Changing letters.
No. All right, so the 3 things that Wim does.
Oh, wait. So first of all,
what? I want to get into the meat.
No, I know you get the meat. Just a minute.
I'm going to close it. I'm closing it.
I mean,
that's what you get.
I mean, do I not have great tangents?
I haven't seen one yet. I'm just not believing that it's going to come.
Well, no, so
it's like you're the worst old captain in the world. I've got an idea.
Yeah. Right.
Head due south.
Everybody, instead of going across the ocean, we're just going to go in a big circle.
What if we didn't even use this thing on the stars and we just went that way?
It's called a sextant. Why the heck do they call it that anyways?
Right. They've never had a 5-tent.
Yeah, a 4-tent.
Where are you going? What's your tangent?
I don't even know.
Oh,
no, I do know. So, like, I just want to be clear. Like, this isn't like you're just sitting on a pillow and, like, you're, like, praying to some, Buddha or something, and you're, like, sitting there just staring off into space. You're just totally relaxed and chilled out. Like, so this breathing method. Mm-hmm. So before you even talk about what it does, like, this breathing method is, like, a very active process, right?
100%. It's a workout, kind of. If you treat it that way. Like, just the breathing and properly breathing. Western culture never learns to breathe. We go through our entire life and we're shallow top breathers, meaning that we breathe in the top of our chest. We lift our chest up when we breathe, and that's it. And you need to belly breathe to fill the lower lobes of your lungs.
Like the babies do.
That's right.
Babies
That's exactly right. Babies are belly breathers. And that's alliteration again.
Brass knuckles, baby breather, belly.
We should have. We're going to rename this. And so this is a breathing workout,
right? In
a sense, and that's how you have to treat it. You give yourself 11 to 20 minutes a day that you're going to lay down on your couch, and safety wise, you don't do this in water.
Does your couch get
driving?
Busy?
Huh?
Does your couch get busy? All these people come and lay down on your couch?
It hasn't yet. Right. I'm waiting.
All right.
That's why I put one of those coin slots on it.
Right. That makes sense.
I want them to pay.
And it vibrates.
Because I'm going to make some money on this.
So magic fingers bad?
No. My wife's not in for that.
No.
So you go down and basically you're working out. When you belly breathe properly, you're massaging your intestines. You're doing all these things that you don't even think. I never knew that I needed to be doing that. I had no idea until I went down this rabbit hole. And so you lay there for 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, you said 11 to 20.
Well, 11's because one of the standard tutorials that Wim does
is
11 minutes. So I say, 11 to 20 minutes. You can go as long as you want. But and quite often when I've put people through this breathing, they want to stay in it because it does feel incredible.
Oh, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
It feels amazing.
You feel physiological changes going on in your body.
I had my whole team, which we can talk about on some other podcast. My whole team do around 11 or 12 minute breathing exercise right before our national championships.
Oh, and you guys
we did. Overall, we were like the best team in the nation. We had a second place in one bracket and first place in the other one. So
that's decent. That's okay.
That was, out of everybody.
Yeah, out of everybody, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty darn good.
And a brand new team. So, but yeah, I mean, so we did it, and they were like, "Wow, I feel crazy." But I mean, as a paramedic, firefighter, so this Wim Hof breathing, you're basically hyperventilating.
Yep.
In a very specific way.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. And so, do you get carpal pedal spasms?
You can. Yeah.
Yeah. So your hands cramp up. That's because you're changing.
You're dropping your CO2 levels.
Yeah. You're becoming a.
And if people listening don't know this, you have a primary trigger that makes us breathe, and it's the thing that makes you feel panicky if you hold your breath too long. And what that is high CO2, carbon dioxide. When your body reaches a certain threshold of CO2, depending on what you're used to, that's why you can change this if you're a diver and you want to prolong your breath holds. It's really becoming more resilient to the feeling of CO2 in your system. So CO2 is our primary breathing trigger. And what happens is you breathe rapidly 30 to 40 times and full breaths. And I'm talking like, and then relaxing it out. Right. You don't push air out, you just relax it out. And you do this 30 to 40 times in a row. And so you get all those things that we have always been taught are bad, right? You get lightheaded. Careful, you'll pass out. You'll get cramping hands. You get tingly face. There's all these sensations that happen when CO2 levels drop in your body. Now, in standard U.S. culture, as we've all been Western culture that we have all been raised in, we fear sensation a lot that we don't understand.
We fear the Reaper.
That is a song, and that is not what I'm talking about.
Don't fear the Reaper.
But we do. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so, so we basically what Wim says is when you're doing this breathing, whatever you're feeling, focus and breathe into it and make it more. You increase that feeling because that means it's working. And what you're doing is you're making your body more alkaline. Okay, so
what does that mean? What's alkaline?
Well, acidic. Tell me. So we have a standard pH level, acidic versus alkaline.
What does pH stand for? Gotcha. Anyways, keep going.
Great question.
Nobody actually.
This is a test.
Nobody cares what pH stands for.
Okay, all right. I'm so glad. I totally know. I don't know. Yeah. But so you have this pH level that's normal for the human body.
Right.
And if pH is 7.2 to 6. I'm not even going to get into it. I don't know what it is. It's in the chart.
It's a range.
It is. Right. It's a big range. Well, it's not really a big range.
It's a small range.
So as you breathe, if you become more acidic, more acidic is very, very unhealthy in the sense of like a lot of cancers, in acidic environment, cancer thrives in an acidic environment.
What about ketoacidosis?
Ketoacidosis is acidic as well, but we'll get it. Ketones are a different deal, but it is a pH issue with the body as well. And
oh, excuse me, I'm feeling gassy.
There's a dog.
I sound like a dog when I'm gassy.
Whose dog is that?
Yeah, I don't
anyway,
know.
So all right, so let me get this. So you're breathing. By increasing your breathing, you become more alkaline. So you become alkaline. Cancer can't exist in an alkaline environment. And so you breathe this down, and so now that primary trigger is real low. And then after 30 to 40 breaths, you hold your breath. You just breathe out and relax. And you just kind of let your mind wander in the sensations you're feeling in your body, which are quite, there's a lot of sensations. And you don't breathe again until you have to breathe. And so...
I have no idea what that sound was. Do you know what that sound was?
No, I do not.
That was weird.
That like a ghost.
I know. I was gassy, and my fart sounded like a dog
it's barking. Terrible.
And then,
so you don't breathe again until you need to breathe. And you're not trying to push it and go for long periods of time, but you'll go for anywhere between 1 and 3 minutes until you need to breathe. And when you breathe in. Well, what happens is, and I want to talk about this, so it's this breathing. Everyone used to say, oh, you tap into your body's, your immune system. You can manipulate your immune system and manipulate inflammation by doing this. Well, and I asked so many times, like, how? How does it do this? How? And what they did in a study, they drew blood out of Wim every 5 to 10 minutes when he was breathing.
Right.
And what they found is that you have 3 markers. I want to say they're called interleukins, IL markers. There's IL-6, interleukin-6, interleukin-8, and interleukin-10 in your body that they're looking at. And the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve, is what affects inflammation. And every major disease we have that exists on a cellular level has inflammation in some level out of control. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
Especially when you get to autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, so something gets inflamed.
Yeah, and autoimmune diseases, they have an IL interleukin-6 suppressing medication that people are bound to that have rheumatoid arthritis or just any autoimmune disorder, and they get stuck.
Like type 1 diabetes?
No.
So not any autoimmune disorder.
Okay, so, well, it kind of depends. Wouldn't that depend on the cause of your...
Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune response. It's when your body attacks the islets of Langerhans in your pancreas and kills off your ability to produce insulin naturally, versus type 2 diabetes.
Right, which is slowly...
Which is becoming often...
Insulin resistant.
Yeah. Or a decrease in not producing enough insulin for the amount of carbohydrates that you eat. But you don't lose the ability...
you just don't. Your body needs more insulin to actually take in,
or it doesn't respond to insulin and generally type 2 diabetes is completely tied to diet, whereas type 1 diabetes is considered juvenile onset diabetes because typically it's some 5 to 7 year old kid that suddenly becomes very sick, goes into DKA, almost dies, and then they figure out he's diabetic. Which is what happened to my son. So,
oof.
Yeah. So
there you go.
So not all autoimmune disorders.
Well, I guess I don't know about that. I don't know if lack of inflammation or something would help that.
But you know what's crazy?
What?
Is they've tied gluten to type 1 diabetes, and they've found that when people go onto a strict paleo and gluten-free diet, they can actually... This isn't medical advice, by the way. They can actually reverse the onset of type 1 diabetes in the honeymoon phase.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and I know they're using intermittent fasting along with those things.
Yeah, so you can actually, so there is some sort of inflammatory response based off of diet that does occur that can trigger that sort of thing. Now, this isn't saying that, well, you ate something bad and it's your fault that you have autoimmune. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. So if somebody's out there getting offended, fuck off. Sorry. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Right, it's very kind. It sounded kind from the outside.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, this isn't me saying, like, this is how it is. This is stuff I've read, you know. Mm-hmm. So my wife is a holistic nutritionist and has masters in complementary alternative medicine. So we have these conversations. But yeah, I mean, sorry to go on a tangent, but
it's okay. It was a good one.
Right. Wim Hof is basically saying, in essence, you are manipulating, right? You are manipulating what your blood looks like, right?
100%, yeah. Right. And so what they found is they drew his blood and they said, hey, we'll contact you in a few weeks. And then they contacted him, and he had... So when you take standard pharmaceuticals, as I understand it, they affect IL-6, interleukin-6. They don't affect 8. And I think that what they were saying is I think it also affects IL-10. So interleukin-10 is a cancer destroyer. That's a good thing. We don't want to affect that.
What the fuck is an interleukin?
Interleukin's a protein that the body releases.
Right. Okay. But it's an awesome protein.
It's like, it's a powerful protein. And it goes around and...
Can I call it a protein?
I think you could call it whatever you want. It doesn't care.
Yeah, a goatine?
No. Further away. Nope.
Yote.
Nope. Mm-hmm. So
The big show team.
We're going to get a taser. So what they found in his breathing is that it suppressed IL-6 and IL-8, both the inflammatory markers, and did not suppress 10. So the body's natural anti-cancer destroyer is still roaming around, not affected, and the other ones are completely nominal. And that is just from during one breathing session.
Wow.
So this happens. This freaking happens. And so that was, I mean, I can talk to you about Wayne State University at the School of Medicine.
So talk to me about it. I mean, that's the
well,
whole
all
point.
right. I will do that. The other part of this method is taking a cold shower every day. Very easy. Right. Oh, it's not easy. It's hard to talk yourself into it. I've been doing it for a year and a half now, and I still have that micro conversation in my head when it's running. Like, I could do this later. I don't have to do this right now.
Yeah.
But then you just force yourself in there. Stop being a baby and get in there. And we're talking one.
What about a baby with brass knuckles?
No, that baby's already in there when you open the door. He's like, close the door.
Waiting to kick the shit out of you.
He just doesn't know English yet.
Right. Oh, because it's a Chinese baby.
No. No. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
It's just the brass knuckles came from China. Because they're small.
Oh, not the baby.
Yeah, and the water's draining off them. There's gold paint all over the water. Be like, oh, baby, give me those. Yeah. Those aren't brass.
Yeah.
So Wayne State University in 2018 took 74 subjects, and they put them in a perfusion suit. So that's a suit with tubes in it, and they pump ice water through it, okay? And they're monitoring. Sounds like a fun time,
yeah,
huh?
That sounds horrible.
And so they're monitoring what happens, and they're monitoring brain function as well. So
I bet you the guy who wrote the Human Caterpillar script also came up with that.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh, yeah.
This will be fun.
Yeah, let's make a perfusion suit. What does it do? Well, you wear it.
Freezes you.
And then I freeze you.
Okay.
I mean.
Will you stop? What's the safe? You got to have a safe word.
Yeah.
So out of 74 subjects, guess what happened? They pump freezing water through this, and their temperature drops. It's amazing.
Weird.
Can you even fathom?
No, and you know what'd be funny is like, let's make the safe word stop. And you're like, okay. And like, what's the word if I want it to go colder? Also say stop.
Sorry, I misunderstood halfway through.
Yeah, I thought you said stop. No, I said stop. Yeah. So I gave you more cold water.
Yeah, he's like, I said sorry. Hey.
I mean, the nice thing about being hypothermic is you go loopy, right?
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't care.
You'll remember.
You're like, I'll take my clothes off. And this stupid perfusion
I feel like I should have taken my tiny whities off, too. Oh, yeah. So, 74 subjects, it dropped. So they put women there. And a lot of these experiments are from doctors that are like, hey, I want to do this experiment on you. And he doesn't know. If you read his book, it's very funny. He doesn't know how to do the stuff or how to show it. He just does his breathing thing and is mindful. And so he does his breathing during the perfusion suit, and his core temperature maintains, doesn't drop. And
so it maintains.
Right, it maintained, and what they saw on the brain scan was that he was activating initiating electrical activity in parts of the brain that were thought to be inaccessible to humans by this breathing, right? And the presence of the cold. And so they thought, well, that's crazy. So they brought him back the next day, and they said, okay, now no deep breathing and no muscle contractions because it'll throw the brain scan stuff off this time. So just be still. And they pumped that stuff through, and his core temperature dropped like everyone else's, okay? So, and so the thought was at that time, well, maybe the heat from the intercostals and the heavy breathing and the muscle tensing created enough heat for him to withstand that.
Right.
Well, the last day he came in, they hooked him up, and they said, same thing. They said, tomorrow when you come in, you can't do your breathing, can't do muscle contractions. And so meditate through it. And so he was, I guess, thinking about it like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And so he decided, and he calls this the muscle of belief. And so he said, your body can handle this. You can do it. So he said he programmed himself in the sense of saying, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to maintain my blood, my core temperature when they do this. And he came in that day, put the suit on, went in the machine, and didn't do any of the breathing. And during the perfusion suit, his skin temperature raised 1 degree. So it went up. And which is just showing also
Mind over matter.
That we have so much goddamn power in our brains, but we are taught that the world's happening to us, and we just are. You have to sit there and say thank you to every
right,
what we perceive as a bad situation.
Whole different podcast.
It's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, it's about reality.
So that was muscles,
the muscle of belief.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
And he also, this other quote that I love of his that I wrote down is, "Where our mind goes, our blood flows."
Oh, that's true.
100% true. So if you have an injury,
so when you're a 14-year-old boy,
guess what?
You gotta wear baggy
Thanks
pants.
a lot, yoga pants.
Yeah, I mean,
you really embarrassed a lot of kids.
A lot of boys.
Yeah, because they can't help it.
No, where your mind goes, the blood flows, and that dodges. Sorry.
Yes. And here's another thing. Can I touch on this too?
Yeah, I have a story about like mind.
Oh, do it. Let's hit me with it. We'll get to Kilimanjaro in a second.
I was a private in the Army,
Uh-huh.
right? And we were going on a run. I was brand new to this Scout Sniper platoon, and
okay. I don't have any stories like this, by the way.
Yeah, and so there's this platoon sergeant, and he's in charge. His name's Zen Davidson.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he is about 6'6", maybe 275 pounds of solid muscle. The biggest, blackest, scariest man. Like, he's just a man's man.
Yeah.
Like, he is like the penultimate definition of this guy is everything warrior, right?
Yeah.
And he's got this big, deep, booming voice, right? And we're gonna go on this run, right? So we start running, and I'm looking at him because I was 20,
yeah,
maybe 19,
and tall, but you weren't filled out.
And I was 180 pounds,
yeah,
and 6'5", 180 pounds. So I'm just tall, lanky. We start running. It's maybe a 5.5 minute mile, 6 minute mile, super fast.
Fast.
Yeah, and you're oh, you wasn't that fast. It was that fast. I know. I mean, I could run a 5:40 mile, no big deal back then. And so we're probably running a 5:50 miles, I would say. A little bit slower than my top speed, but right at it. And we run mile 1, mile 2, mile 3, and I'm what the heck?
When are we stopping?
Well, I just I can't run this far.
Yeah.
This fast. In my head, right? And so I start slowing down. And we slow down. I slow down and I fall out of the formation, and I'm this is my first day in this new platoon, right? In this first day.
You're no one said you had to be a super runner.
Right. And and I was they're gonna kick me out of this platoon.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a scout sniper, and they slow down, they circle around, right? And then they circle behind me, and I'm just still running straight, and they come behind me, and then I end up being in the front of the formation, right next to Zen, and Zen's the one leading it, right? Or Sergeant First Class Davidson, right? So if you're out there, Zen, please don't kill me for mentioning your name.
Zen, I think you should beat him down.
Don't kill me. And
he makes another short joke.
He goes, "What's your name again?" And I was Krug, Sergeant. And he goes, "I tell you what, Krug. You fall back one more time, I'm going to fuck you up." And he just says it he ain't even winded. And I was I'm looking at this guy this motherfucker going to kill me.
He will kill you.
Because this is a whole platoon. There's 30 people, and they're all keeping up, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone's looking at me like I'm a fucking useless piece of meat. Fuck this guy, right? So I'm holy shit. And I'm private, So I keep up. We run 6.5 miles at that 5:50, 6 minute pace, right? I'd never done that my entire life, right? I was only 19, so I was I had that much life, but I couldn't believe how fast it was. And we finished the run, and then we start stretching out, spreading out our formation to stretch, and I just pass out, I just go unconscious. And I wake up to Zen literally got my t-shirt balled up on my chest, slapping me across the face, and he's "Nobody passes out in my formation." It's all right.
Starting now. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And from then on, there was something that clicked in my head.
Right.
Right. It was this thing that I realized at that moment, right? That year and a half I was with Zen or whatever, I probably gained 40 pounds of muscle, and I could run, easily. I could easily run a 5.5 minute mile for days, right? But I could, I could bench press a couple hundred pounds, 275 pounds. Hey, you remember me way back then?
Yeah.
You saw me. I was like, holy cow, look at this guy.
I saw you when you were back on leave from Korea, I think.
No, I was Blackwater? Was I working for Blackwater?
Well, I saw you again, but remember we had a weekend where I saw you randomly.
Yeah, I was coming back from Korea for a bit. Yeah.
And that was right before your massive transformation.
Right.
Because when you came back from Iraq, you were
a giant,
fucking gigantic.
Yeah, I
didn't know who you were.
Yeah, that was Blackwater. Like I was very enhanced. I was an enhanced person.
I would say enhanced.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God, monsters are real.
Yeah. I remember having that picture of like I got you in a headlock and you look like tiny.
Well, I'm not big anyway.
Right,
but then you put me in a headlock at 200 and whatever pounds you were.
I think I was 300 plus.
Oh my God, you were gigantic.
Yeah.
And you had a motorcycle.
I did. Whew. Yeah.
That just happen? Did they just give you one when you reached that body composition? Or did you have to buy it?
I had to buy it.
I thought you just got them when you got that big.
Right. I have a motorcycle now too. It's
the little one.
It's an old guy Harley. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that.
It's an old man. But so Zen, I learned something in that moment.
What clicked?
It was there's a connection between your mind and your body that you have to actually remove. You have to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You have to remove that, and I think it's almost like what Wim Hof is talking about, like this belief, right? You have to remove that connection. Once you stop caring about whether or not you can or can't do something,
right there you go.
Yeah, you just do it, right? And you can't care about how much. Well, oh, my legs hurt. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, I can't. Like you just like, well, okay, there's no option. Like there's a fella a few years back that he was one of those like the Biggest Loser contestants or something like that, but he didn't win. But he went on. He did an Ironman triathlon in Hawaii. And he ended up running. He didn't actually finish the triathlon in the Ironman in time, but he ended up running like one of his last miles in the marathon portion, or maybe it was a half Ironman, so it was like 13.1 miles that he's gonna run.
Totally.
But he ended up running like one of the last miles in a sub 6 minute mile, and this was a morbidly obese dude that ran like a sub 6 minute mile. And it was like because I watched the video and I watched him and his story and stuff, and I was like, they talked about this 1 mile that he ran that was like sub 6 minute mile, and I was like, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. Like he found that connection and he like removed it, but at the same time that you get rid of that connection, right, you create this ability like to just say, there's nothing that will make me quit. Right.
You know, I think you're touching on something that's huge, and it's that trust in yourself, in that sense of we love to label ourselves. And whether you've gone through trauma in the past and then you say, well, that's why I'm the way I am because of this thing. Yeah. Like you focus on it, right? Or I can't run that. No, my knee is bad. I'll never do it. And it's that belief that makes you over-focus on the sensations that you're feeling that reinforces that belief. And I think there's something huge to getting out of your own way. And I'm not, advocating if you have terrible knees to run out and run sub 6 minute miles for 6 hours or however, 6 whole miles, sub 6 minute, just go. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we can apply that so many ways in our lives to like stop seeing all the ways and the reasons that you can't and just go do something. And your body knows how to do it.
Right. Yeah. And so Wim Hof.
Except karate.
Wim Hof. Basically wills himself to heal. He
believes that he can do it. So that's why he went up Everest just wearing shorts.
Are you serious?
Yes. He went up Everest.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he didn't summit. He went past the dead zone, but he got stopped by a storm, hurt his foot. He came back down, but he came into base camp during a blizzard. And some people were marveling at this guy with 2 ski poles that walked by them with goggles on, no shirt, in shorts.
Well, he's got to be, respectable.
He's got to be. Yeah, he kept the shorts.
Nobody wants to see your.
But the guy goes up. He ran a marathon at the base of Everest with no shoes on, just to show that you can do it. And so he is all about like not limiting yourself, having fun, and just letting your body do what it's supposed to do. A part of the state we're in as a culture is because we're so scared to get cold. We're 72 degrees all the time. If it's chilly at all, we put a sweatshirt on. It's good to be cold sometimes.
Clearly, you have never hung out in Central Alaska in April.
Right, but you get cold, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like in Fairbanks, which I was up there for a few years, like when it's like 33 degrees out.
Yeah, it's like summer.
Like shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And you get like 4 hours of sunlight.
But see, that's healthy.
Yeah.
And so that's right there, the body's doing, there's proof right there that it's like, it's your mindset. Man, because when I was living in Colorado, same thing. I think it got up to 0 one day in a 3-week period. And I had a hoodie sweatshirt on. I was like, it's gorgeous.
That's so nice.
Wow, sunny. And so the other parts, of this stuff that he's talking about is it's practical uses for the breathing. And one of the ways that he showed that was climbing Kilimanjaro with a group of folks, not climbers, not outdoor activists kind of stuff. We're talking people, there were some people with metastasized cancer,
so
rheumatoid
Wim
arthritis.
Hof people, though.
Yeah. They're doing, they know the technique and everything, and they go with him.
That's such a weird name for a mountain.
Kilimanjaro?
Kilimanjaro?
I don't think they meant it like that.
Yeah, like, hey, man.
I don't know the meaning of it.
How are you going to kill that guy?
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think
I would have killed him in a jar.
That off. We're going to need to erase that. Okay, so he takes these people, right?
Right.
And this doctor, I can't remember the doctor's name. Oh, I do know the doctor's name because I highlighted this part in his book, which I thought was awesome. So here's what he did. In 2014, he took 26 people to Tanzania, Mount Kilimanjaro, and they were going to summit in 3 days. Now, usually that's going up faster than they suggest in high altitude. 1,000 foot a day, they say, is a max to avoid altitude sickness for the lay person, unless you're some sort of mega athlete. So, no more than 1,000 feet per day. That's what they suggest on Kilimanjaro. So they say it should take 5 days to summit.
That's what they suggest on Kilimanjaro, because it's kind of it's not exactly a technical. It's just like
no, it's just going up.
It's just a walk.
On a walk, on a trail, basically.
Because
it's not technical.
I can tell you, that's like most mountaineers would be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. But for a layperson, especially people who are considered unhealthy, and the doctors that they were consulting on this said, hey, you're going to kill people. They're going to get real sick, and this is irresponsible. And so he did it, and instead of the 5 days, they reached the summit in 44 hours.
44 hours.
But what they did is they would take breaks and do this breathing. And then they would start walking again. And then at night, they didn't sleep a lot, but when you were sleeping, you do this breathing, get some rest, do the breathing again when you wake up, and you do the breathing until the headaches went away, and then they would continue. And so they were able to get enough oxygen to the places it needs to get to maintain this. And so what he did, which was crazy, was in the first year, he took them up there and they made it in 44 hours.
Right.
And then the second year, he took a group up in 36 hours.
Right.
And then the next year, 28 hours.
28 hours.
And this is, again, not athletes.
No.
So, there's a lot of uses to this.
They were not sponsored by Nike.
No. They were not. And so if you're struggling, one of the centers of the brain that they noticed that I said activated that people thought were inaccessible,
right,
is the centers like the limbic system and whatnot that govern emotions. And basically, the doctors are so excited because these, have implications for people with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. Like we need to study this stuff, not just a pill. I'm not saying pills don't have their place. They absolutely do. I think, but
so
we have some power that I think we should exercise.
Would you say that aspects of wellness are a personal responsibility?
I would say 100%. It's not just happening to you. You have a hand into it.
Yeah, I mean, there are things outside of your control.
Yep.
Like javelins through the face.
Yeah, lion bit your hand off.
Right, yeah. Trauma. Yeah. So, and then
absolutely.
other, ailments due to,
Well, there's a lot of exposure things, like people that were exposed to large amounts of chemicals and stuff like. What are you going to do? But you can maximize where you're at.
I mean, there's a couple cities I wouldn't drink the water from.
Right.
Like Flint.
Yeah. Have we fixed that, right?
No, that's not fixed.
Oh, come on, everybody. There's enough people with money that we can bypass. This is unacceptable.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it depends on when you're listening to this podcast. It might be fixed, but...
I lived in Davison right outside of Flint.
Right. So you probably have lead poisoning, which should explain the way that you think.
That's not the point I was making. The point I was making was there's good people there. We should all come together as a country. We should get this fixed. How is that acceptable?
I don't agree. Okay. I mean, Jeff Bezos needs his billions.
You're right. Shopping is more fun.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
But my kid is getting lead poisoning.
Right.
But shopping is more fun.
Amazon does have brass knuckles for my baby.
I know you can.
And they are on Prime.
And they have that little thing in there that's so nice. It's like you can probably get this cheaper
from a different seller. Was it $70 billion he was worth? Or is he worth $70 billion now after?
I don't know. I wonder if he has any money that he could.
I'm sure,
use to fix water. For people.
Flint, Michigan was probably $1 billion. And that's $999,999,999 plus 1 penny. Right. That's how much a billion is.
That is exactly how much a billion is. Yep, it is.
Yeah, and he's got 70 of those.
That's a lot.
Right, yeah. I mean,
But where do I match him? Love.
Right.
I win there. I guarantee.
So Wim Hof has some amazing stuff. I mean, we're coming up on an hour, so we're gonna.
Oh my goodness! If you stayed with us, thank you.
Yeah.
So Wim Hof, WIMHOF. There's a lot more studies. This guy, from Radboud University to Feinstein University in Detroit to you name it.
And in the bottom of if you're watching the YouTube, the bottom of the YouTube, there's going to be a link there, right? Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and we might be able to figure something out on the podcast. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm sure there's a way. But yeah, so we'll talk more about that, and then we can talk about wealth distribution at some point too, because that's an interesting
point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in America, they say that it's just hard work, earn your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, then are you telling me that the uber rich just worked harder than me?
Yes. Yep.
I don't think it has anything to do with hard work.
No, totally.
Yeah, no.
It's just you're lazy.
Yeah,
sorry.
Sorry.
Lazy.
I mean, it's just interesting when you think about there is an exceptional level of uber rich people that probably don't really need all that.
It's a very interesting thought. Mm-hmm. And boy, just saying that, there are people out there being like, God damn it. I love my dad is one. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad.
I love you,
but
Dad. I can't say that to my dad.
If you say anything like that, it'll kind of set him off, because in his mind, he's like, yeah, but what if that was me? I wouldn't want someone taking my money.
I would be like, dude, you're a dick. You're straight up dick, Dad. $70 billion. Give away I don't know, 60 billion and just be a 10 billionaire.
Yeah, but is that enough to make robot people?
I don't know. Is it? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how much. That's a pay scale that I'm not accustomed to.
Look at the guy who owns and runs Costco. That guy.
Who's that guy?
I don't remember his name.
How much money does he have?
He only makes $150,000 a year or something stupid like that, or maybe less than $300,000 a year. He gives most of his money. That's why Costco has the number one employee loyalty rate of any
company. So he takes care of people.
He completely takes care of all of his people. They have incredible health care. The employee loyalty is insane, right? And it's
exciting.
Huge, it's the biggest big box, wholesale, whatever company in the United States. And I mean, the guy he's like, look, I get enough money. I don't need to.
That's pretty badass.
I don't need to make. I mean, because he could be a bajillionaire.
If he wants.
Costco, right? He could be like Jeff Bezos, right? But then we have, I'm not saying Jeff's a bad guy.
I'm sure he's. I guess I don't know. I can't say he's a good guy either.
Different podcast, I guess. I mean, we're talking about Wim Hof, so.
I saw Ex Machina. That's what I picture.
Ex Machina? Is it Machina?
I don't know.
I mean, it's.
No one said the name of the movie in front of me. Machina.
That's the one where the guy makes the robot?
Chicks.
the robot the one robot lady. Oh no, he has like 8 robot ladies. So
yeah, but then this one's real tricky.
Yeah, and then he makes one that ends
Don't ruin it for people.
Okay, yeah.
Go see this movie if you want to be creeped out. Yeah. It is creepy.
You want to realize that.
And they had the guy from Star Wars First Order.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy in that, the little red-haired fella. Mm-hmm. Seems like a nice guy. Goes a little. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it goes a little.
I don't want to ruin it either.
Yeah, I know.
It ends by.
All right, so
thank you for hanging in there.
All right, podcast number 1, and we'll see you.
Can we tee it? Can you give me a tee?
Tee, boom.
No, don't mimic me. Just keep it straight. There you go. And give it to me. No. Oh boy, you're terrible. Okay, yeah. There you go. That's a tee.
Yeah, listen to that. All right. Hey, we'll talk again later.
All right, brass knuckles.
Baby carriages.
The space between. Thanks for coming.
Or betwixt.